Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien. Today, Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. And I got a few emails on my video when I said sitting in for Paul Harvey yesterday with Daniel 5. So I guess I got to explain Daniel 5 to you guys. I guess you guys don't have your Old Testament, huh? Wow. Well, anyway, if you read Daniel 5, you'll see that Nebuchadnezzar went 3 times to Jerusalem. The third time he destroyed the temple and took them all back to Babylonia, which in reality, was a unification of brothers. Because remember, they had left Ur, their ancestors, almost 2,000 years before there. So it was kind of a unification. It's like taking the African Americans back to Africa 2,000 years after 1619. So 3619, you go back to Africa. See what I mean? It's kind of that same thing. And Daniel was trying to tell King Nebuchadnezzar what it was. And like he told him that God's people had turned away from him, and God had let him take him back to Babylonia. And it would take between, 100, 200 lifetimes, maybe 1,000 lifetimes before they'll see their home again. Which probably, 1,000 lifetimes would do it, maybe 200, somewhere around there, from 586 BC to, or if you want to take the Romans at 70 AD to 1927, I believe it was, when they started coming back, somewhere around in there. Or 1948 when the Jewish state was actually declared. So that is that part of that meaning, okay? The second meaning was how he governed and ruled. And he had created Babylon to be a big fortress. It had 3 walls, very thick walls too, high and wide. So it was like, he had the same thinking of Constantine the 11th, almost 1,500 of his years later, where he, in 1453, thought that, we can, the walls here, we can withstand everything that Muhammad II here is going to throw at us, and he'll give up and go home. Well, that was the thinking. But somehow or another, Nebuchadnezzar saw the light what Daniel told him. Either the boss or somebody made him see the light. And he became a different guy. And like I said, for the last almost 20-some years of his reign, he ruled a very nice guy. And that's, when you say nice guy, you must take in context the times that he lived in. It doesn't mean that he was a nice guy. It just means that he was a nicer guy than he was before. Before, he would take his advisors and execute them. Kind of like President Trump. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Yeah. And that's what it was. And he understood that in order to maintain Babylon, it's not the walls that maintain Babylon, it's the people. And to maintain the territory, you have to maintain the trust and the faith of the people to a certain extent. You're not going to be 100% yippee, okay? And that's what he wanted to say. And that's what I was trying to point out to President Biden. President Trump, he could care less about anything except himself. That was Nebuchadnezzar the Old. When he went over there for Jerusalem in 602 BC, 597 BC, and 586 BC, he was thinking of himself. That was President Trump, always thinking of himself. He could care less about the Republican Party as long as there are means to an end. And that's what Nebuchadnezzar was doing to the people. Means to an end. And then he realized that in order to stay in power, and this is what Daniel was trying to tell him on his second dream, and he somehow or another he got the light. Well, President Biden didn't get the light. He's still over there in the promised land in the desert, 40 years, going, yeah, right. And the problem with President Biden is, we got to trust the science. Really? You got vaccines, which are good. They're like the walls of Babylon. But then you got people in here that are thinking other things, and like the ruler of Babylon in 539 BC, Balthasar, he said, okay, we got water, we got all kinds of stuff, we can outstand it, and those Persians or Medes, they give up and go home. Party! Yeah, so he did a party. Same as President Trump did that famous January 6th party, and it came back to backfire on both of them, hasn't it? Balthasar, everybody got drunk, everybody left their post, and then you had the Persians under Cyrus, and then son Darius. And Cyrus took them. Darius understood what was going on, okay? He tried to do the same thing with the Persians a couple decades later, with the Greeks. Didn't work out too well for him. Didn't work out too well for his son Xerxes either. But he saw what happens to a person like Balthasar who does not heed the meaning of Daniel 5. It happened to him, it happened to Balthasar. And it's happening to President Biden because your vaccines are like Babylon's walls. Sure, they're holding their own, but they're showing cracks. And because there was nobody manning the walls, meaning mitigating the virus here, well, the walls caved in, Babylon went, and into history it went to the late 20th century. That's the same thing with your United States here. You're saying, you're under the baseline that you were saying of 0.25 of 825,000. Well, now you got the Delta variant that's bringing up, you're at 630,000 dead now. And that's underreported. So let's take a conservative figure. Each state from, say, December 2019 to today, August 4th, 2021, each state has underreported by 2,000 people. That's just 2,000 people. Very conservative. Some are way under, some are way up from that. Heck, you notice that even Cuomo's New York State said that they reported underreported deaths of 10,000 from the nursing homes. Yeah, right. See what I mean? So you take a conservative average of 2,000 deaths that has not been reported, times 50 states. That's 100,000 dead. Add it on to the 630, you're at 730 and 825. So you're under 100,000 and getting close to the 0.25. And that's just a conservative estimate. See what I mean, people? You need a mitigating factor in order to maintain this, or your vaccines are going to become just like the walls of Babylon did. They couldn't hold back the guys because they climbed them, they destroyed them, and the other guys were smashed because of the party. And that's the way you guys are doing. You're smashed because you partied, and now you're angry at each other. You're blaming the vaccines for the cost. Vaccines have nothing to do with the cost. They are a stopgap measure, and they are there for a reason. Same as the masks are there for a reason. But you can't use them the way that President Biden's using them. You do that, you're going to get more dead. This is your favorite alien. Good day.